It's the law of supply and demand, as you well know, the marketplace for labour. And if you pitch what you're offering to such a low level, then you're going to get people that are less skilled and are less committed to your company. I would argue, with respect, that if you're serious about doing what you're talking about and putting in place permanent pensionable jobs, then you're going to have to pay more. Because quite frankly, there is a direct correlation between what I pay as purchasing your services and the care that I get. And if I'm paying you what I consider to be a decent amount of money for the service that I'm getting, and ultimately I'm not getting the service because I might argue, with some justification, that you're penny pinching on the back end in terms of the customer care. And I think the evidence is there in your own statement, with respect, when you had somewhere between 15 and 18% of your care staff that walked out in the middle of a pandemic. I mean, if that doesn't raise a flag for you, Miss Lennon.
No, it doesn't, because when we had our contact centre outsourced in Dublin, not managed by Eir, the turnover was 100%.
Right, but
all contact centres have a high level of turnover.
And the reason that you changed from a management, and I spoke to you about that at the time, and I thought it was absolutely the right decision to make. And you're bringing them in-house, you're bringing it onshore, you're bringing it into the time zone, you're bringing it into an environment where people have a better understanding between customer and customer care centre. But the reality is, when the pressure came on, as it did during the pandemic, and with respect, you shouldn't have been expected to see around that corner. I get that completely. But what's clear to me anyway is that when the pressure came on, the staffing that you have were either ill-prepared, ill-trained, or not suitable. And I might argue, with some justification, that the reason was because you're lowballing on the pay side. You're not getting the quality or level of staffing that's prepared to go the extra mile, or for whom, you know, they're capable of doing the work. So it seems to me that you're going to have to look at your pay structure if you're going to get the kind of staffing that deliver the service that the public want.
Well, I suppose we'll have to agree to disagree. I don't believe that's the issue. But you're obviously entitled to that view. I don't believe that's the issue. I think if we...
How many of the staff would have tech skills? How many of the staff would have technical skills?
Our technical support team is where we'd have our tech skills. So there's probably about 50 people on the tech support team.
And if I could just come in on one...
But also there is one other point, and probably this is a mistake that we did make. In choosing Sligo to build from Greenfield, there was no history of contact centres in Sligo before we got there, which meant that when we were hiring local staff, and people travelling from the environs, but local staff, many of them came into us from retail or hospitality. They came in because they wanted to build a career in Eir. Many of them, have our team leaders, etc. now. But I think that was a challenge. It took us longer to train them, and many of them, unfortunately, Sligo only opened last November, so this time last year. They were in their roles a relatively short time, to be fair to them, when COVID hit.